These are the standard performance figures for my Audi TTS, but in this video we're going to be seeing if we can up that and make those numbers at least slightly better. You may remember probably the last time that we've seen the car, we replaced the downpipes for this Scorpion D-Cat, which is not only going to make the car sound better, but also should make it perform better with a tune. Now, before the TT hits the dyno to see what power it can make from those little upgrades that we've made, I need to do some maintenance to make sure the car's in best health before we try and push it for more. So I have got a service kit for the car, so some fresh oil, filters, plugs, all that sort of general stuff that we should always do when we get a car. And I have probably left this a little bit too long, or definitely longer than I should have, but it is getting done now. So very kindly, the guys at Mallory Performance let me use their ramp to make this process a little bit easier and get this car serviced ready for that tune. So the first thing we do is pop the oil cap off up the top, and then we can take the sump plug out and let all of the oil out of the engine. Now, I definitely have left this too long, I can't lie to you. I have been keeping an eye on the fluid levels, but this definitely is well overdue. Once all the oil's drained out, we can pop the sump plug back in with a new washer, and then we can start looking at the oil filter. So this has a little plastic cap that you pop off, and then there's a valve which lets you release all of the oil out of the filter before you take it off, which is quite handy. And then you can put a socket over the filter and just crack it off and wind it off the car. These should only really be hand tight, but they always seem to be slightly over tightened. So with the oil filter housing off, we can then replace the oil filter itself and the O-ring, and then that can go back in the car. Like I said, this hasn't got to be mega tight. You don't need to use a socket to tighten it up. Just a good grip with your hand and squeezing it on is enough. We're now done underneath the car, so we can get the car back on the floor and get inside the engine bay. So all we've got to do in here is change the spark plugs and the air filter, and it's a nice easy job. I did actually also change the cam follower as well before the car hit the dyno, which made the world of difference, and I wish I filmed it because it was such a worthwhile little thing to do. As you'd expect, the spark plugs were super easy to do. All you've got to do is pop the coil pack off and then slide your spark plug socket in there, get it undone, slide it out, grab your new one, stick it on, stick it in, tighten it up, and you're done. Next thing is the air filter, and this didn't quite go to plan because it looks like they've given me the one for like a normal 2-litre TT, not a TTS, so it didn't fit. Finally is the oil. We can't forget this, so we put about 4 or 5 litres in the car and just check it on the dipstick to make sure it's at the right level. So oil and oil filter has been changed, spark plugs have been changed. I haven't managed to change the air filter yet because my parts store have given me the wrong one, so I've got to get a new one of those before tomorrow. I've topped up the coolant, and I've also got one more job to do, which we'll see in a second. So the car's serviced and should be ready to hit the dyno, but we have one final thing to do, which is smoke testing it to make sure that we're not going to have any nasty surprises, which is kind of what you want when you're buying a used car, just like I am at the moment. Now, at the end of this video, I've got some news about what's going to happen to the TT next, and after that, it means that really, I need to get another car to replace it. So just the other day, I was having a look at a BMW M4 and thought that'd be a really nice replacement for the TT, but I'd have to get one for the right money. I did actually find one on an auction website, which was crash damaged, and then I did my car vertical check on it. So we can see here the car has green ticks for mileage, theft, and finance, but has an amber warning light for accidents. Then we can see the car's timeline and any number plate changes it's had. We can see the stolen history report, the mileage graph with no unexpected dips in it, and then also finally the damage report. And this again is where things got interesting for me. Now, like I said, we already knew this car was crash damaged, but the auction website didn't tell us it was crash damaged twice. Once in 2021 and once in 2022, and that's definitely going to affect the value of the car. In some cases as well, like with this Golf R, Car Vertical can also show you photos of the damage from auction websites and so on, so you can see exactly how bad the crash that the car was involved in was. So I have to personally thank Car Vertical for saving my skin on that BMW M4 that could have definitely financially stung me. So if you're buying a used car, want to check yours, a friend's or a family member's, make sure to use my link in the description with discount code Chris, and that's going to save you a nice chunk of cash on your Car Vertical report. Thank you, Car Vertical, for sponsoring this video. The smoke test is now done. Is it a pass?
It's a pass, mate, yeah.
Thank you. Pass with flying colours. What a car. Let's see what this car makes. Just as a reminder, if you can't remember, we haven't done loads to this car. It's just got a downpipe fitted because I wanted to keep it relatively simple because it's supposed to be kind of a daily driver. The first step is to do a standard power run and take the factory file off the car so that can be altered. So we put the car on the dyno, strap it down and see what power it makes. So there is our first run and it's made 298 horsepower at the flywheel, which ain't too bad. That's about 30 horsepower over standard, which considering all we've done is bolt a downpipe onto the car, that's a pretty good power increase. But Phil, who does the tuning here at Mallory, is actually on holiday at the moment in America, living the dream. So we're gonna have to take the file off the TT for now and wait until he comes back until we can flash that back onto the car and see what the final figure is. But we've got something else we can do until then, because we've been sent this out by the guys at Wheel Finesse, and what this is a new cover for the standard steering wheel in the Audi TTS. Now, because this steering wheel obviously was the same one from when the car was in the fire, I think the stitching's a little bit discoloured, the leather's super shiny, and it does just need a good refresh. So while we're doing that, we may as well customise the car a little bit too. Now, apparently the Audi TTS wheel is a little bit more complicated to do, even though these kits are DIYable, but we've got Adam here from Wheel Finesse, and he's going to fit this to the car for me, so...
Thank you. Let's crack on.
One of the most important parts on the interior of a car has got to be the steering wheel, especially if it's a car that you own, because that's the part of the car that you look at, touch and feel every single time you drive the car. And when it comes to customising your steering wheel, there's no one shoe fits all solution. You want to customise that to your exact spec. And with the guys at Wheel Finesse, you can do exactly that, picking your leather finish, your Alcantara, the colour of your stitching, the colour of your centre stripe. You can customise a whole steering wheel cover to suit your exact requirements. And install is not too challenging. You've seen me do something very similar to this in the past, but essentially what you do is double-sided tape the steering wheel itself and then sew the cover over the top of it. Even though sewing sounds hard, I promise you it's not that bad. And we can already see it's transforming the look of the wheel. Now, if you are interested in one of these, don't worry, they're not just for Audis, so they do them for all makes and model of cars. Just drop them a message. I'm going to leave their Instagram in the description, and there's also a discount code in there for you too, to help you save a bit of cash. Then, just to finish off the steering wheel, Adam removed the trim from the wheel so he could tuck the fabric behind it, and then clipped back in the trim with the airbag, and it was good to go. There we have it. That is looking so much better. Adam,
nice one.
Good. Smashed it, man. Just this video is about performance though, so how much horsepower does that add?
10 brake horsepower.
That's phenomenal. You heard it here first, but I'm going to leave a link in the description and maybe even a little discount code for you if you want to go and grab yourselves a Wheel Finesse steering wheel cover, and they come for every car, not just for Audis, so go grab one down there. So Phil's finally back from holiday, which means we can now tune the TT. I hope you had a great time not taking me with you, but next time I want to come. We've essentially just done, it's a stage one, isn't it, with a slight tweak for the decat.
Yeah, so it's basically decat with a stage 1 tune, so obviously the fuel pump or whatever is going to hold you back.
Yeah, so to go to the next level it would be a fuel pump, intercooler, intake and a catback.
Yeah, so it'd be the fuel pump for the higher boost pressures you're going to need, because obviously it empties the rail. You've done a decat, intake because the airbox is a bit and an intercooler just to kind of hold your temps, especially in the summer.
Yeah, so. But we're not going to do that because this is my daily driver. Just going to keep it simple, keep it nice, not get too carried away, because otherwise it can start getting expensive.
Ready?
Yeah, go for it, mate. So with the new tune now on the car, we can do our power run to see how much increase there is over the last time. Feels like it's going to blow up.
338,
338.5, so that is, that's not bad, that's not bad.
Stage 1, I know you got a decat as well.
That's not bad, so standard it made 265, so that is
what?
70 horsepower increase,
It's about
is it?
70 horsepower.
I think that's
yeah.
right. I'm going to feel that, surely.
Oh yeah, well obviously with the extra bits of gear it went that way as well. That's where you start seeing the
Right.
torque.
Just trying to make me spend more money all the time. Right, let's go for a drive. So straight away, I can tell you the TT is completely transformed. Just from doing those 2 small modifications, a downpipe and a remap, which don't cost the earth, the car is night and day, so much faster. To be fair, if you have a turbocharged car, I feel like it's just rule number 1 when you get it, is at least get a stage 1. So if you do want to do that, the details for Mallory Performance are in the description. Let's see if we manage to make the 0 to 60 time at least a tiny little bit better. So the standard time to beat is 4.6 seconds. And in the damp, we've managed to do it in a verified 4.2. Boom! So that's pretty sick. In the dry, it should do even better. It may even scrape into the 3 seconds, so that's a pretty big win if you ask me. But unfortunately, I'm not going to get to enjoy this car for very long. So the question is now, what happens with my 340 brake Audi TTS now that it seems to be pretty complete? Well, the fact of the matter is I can't really keep it because what else am I supposed to do with it? So we come to the natural home of a 2-litre turbo VAG car, an underground car park in the middle of Leicester, for me to give you this big news. The Audi TTS is now going, and we know exactly who it's going to because he's actually been here all along. You might recognise him from clips such as Danny's Drilling Services and Danny Stepped on My Drone, but it's actually now Danny bought my Audi TTS. Yes. Congratulations on your new car, Danny. So let's just remind ourselves of what Danny's got. Well, I bought this car fire damage from auction as a category N write-off for £3,300. Then got it shipped with the fees back to my house. I paid about £4. Then we went about restoring the car with a fresh interior which cost about £1,000 with new body panels, which then set us back to around a total of £5,500. Then we actually carried on with those body panels by doing the ones that didn't actually need changing. So we got a new TTRS rear bumper, a TTRS spoiler, and a TTRS front bumper too. So then once those parts were fitted, we also got them painted and also the bonnet painted too to fix the damage from the auction site. And then got some new wheels. We got these Aspiri FFR ones and then got them refurbished by the wheel specialist in smoked chrome, which looks stunning, and got some fresh tyres on them too. But all in all, I think Danny's got himself a banging little car, and mate, they are yours. That is mine. But I hope you use Car Vertical to save yourself 10% on your check on your brand new used car. But for now, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, Danny.
Bye, Chris.